fundamentally, many companies, when we're in the bull market, many companies just sort of expected that the bull market will continue indefinitely. Markets don't do that. Market go bull, bear, just goes in cycles. So we understood that, and we just held a fairly large amount of cash reserves during the bull markets. And luckily also for us, our income comes into different cryptocurrencies. And stablecoin is one of those, like stablecoins accounts to about 25% to 30% of our income. So we're relying heavily on that now. So yeah, I think overall we're like just because we're in a new industry, we are quite expectant of the cycles. So just having that mindset really helps, I think.
Yeah, certainly.
I think the burn is actually a very small part of the BNB ecosystem value. I think BNB's most value actually is derived from the DeFi world today. There are so many different use cases that people can use BNB for, and there's BNB staking on PancakeSwap. There's Venus, which is a stable coin. And there's many different things that people can also use BNB to buy airline tickets, even coffee, etc. There's the Binance card. People can use BNB to pay for things. So I think the burn is only a small part of it now. At the beginning, the burn may be the burn may be a big part of it. And we have since changed the burn protocol to depend more on the activities on the BNB chain instead of revenues from Binance, etc. So that change was adopted. So today, I think BNB is, and including Bitcoin, etc., they're much dependent on utility value, what people use it for. If there are use cases for it, then it has value. So I think this is different from like traditional stocks or securities where it depends on a company's revenue. BNB is way, I think BNB is way beyond that. In the decentralized world, well, first of all, centralization is not black and white. It's not one or the other. There's a spectrum of number one is a spectrum if we look at any particular aspect, and there's multiple aspects we got to look at. So each one of them is a gradient scale. And so, for example, if we look at any cryptocurrency or blockchain, Bitcoin, I do think is by far the most decentralized blockchain, cryptocurrency, etc. But if you look at Bitcoin mining, it's quite centralized. Like, the top two miners top two or three mining pools will control more than 51% of the mining power. If you look at Ethereum or BNB chain, you can still associate a founder with those two blockchains and many other blockchains. So Ethereum, in that sense, if Vitalik suggests some changes, most likely the community will go with his suggestion. I think so far we've done good. But if someday I turn evil and then do something bad, then that's not good. So decentralization prevents a single person or a single entity turning evil, which is a good prevention measure. So, but in a decentralized world, you cannot prevent people from working together, right? So you're not supposed to interfere with other people as long as they're not harming you or not harming themselves. So centralization will naturally form. So I think as long as we're centralized, we just got to be very cognizant of the fact that centralization is not a goal. Also, to be honest, decentralization itself is actually not really the goal. The goal we want to achieve is to give people the freedom. We want to develop technologies that give people freedom, ease of use, low fees. So freedom including permissionlessness, meaning that if you want to send some money to somebody else across the world, that's legit activity. You're not doing something dodgy. You should be able to do it. So we want to protect the fundamental properties that we want to achieve through decentralization. In the process, there will certainly be certain levels of centralization, groups working together, etc. But we don't want that to be the ultimate goal. It should not be ultimate goal for a single organization to control all the world's crypto, etc. So when a single organization gets too big, we should look at how to diversify that, to the extent that we actually invest in other crypto exchanges, centralized exchanges. We invest in our competitors, so that we actually want other exchanges to exist, more exchanges to exist in this industry. This way we can grow the industry faster. Right now, we not being arrogant, but we're doing the lion's share of the work on onboarding users into crypto. So we want to see more people doing that. So yeah, so it's a very tricky question. There's no right or wrong, but I'm actually very in much agreement with you. It's we want to be careful that we don't become overly centralized, overly big, overly monolithic. I think crypto is a technology that can increase the freedom of money for billions of people around the world. And throughout history, anytime we can increase the freedom of something without sacrificing other aspects, security, compliance, ease of use, fees, etc. If we can increase the freedom of something, our civilization advances. So if you look at freedom of speech in some countries only today, freedom of press, again, only in some countries, freedom of information, freedom of education, freedom from slavery. Anytime those things happen, and those things happen over a number of years, they all didn't just happen like that. They all took multiple decades or even centuries for those changes to come. But when those things happen, our civilization advanced. So today we have the new technology for money that can significantly increase freedom. Today, our money is not that free. Like even after you pay all your taxes, if you like, say you're an entrepreneur in China. In China, if you move more than $50,000 US dollars out of China in any given year, that's called money laundering. So if you're a successful entrepreneur in China and you want to buy an apartment in Paris, guess what? You won't be able to move the money legally. This is your after-tax money. So that we don't have the level of freedom there. So I do think this technology will enhance our freedom of money. And in Africa, 89% of people don't have access to banking. So they're stuck with using some really archaic methods of finances. So I do think this is a really, really meaningful thing for us to do. And at the same time, we want to stay 100% compliant. We don't want to cause any trouble. We don't want to decrease security aspects. So we need to maintain those aspects and increase the freedom. For me, I think this is, for me personally, this is the most meaningful thing I could be doing with my life. So, and I feel very fortunate. I feel very lucky to be in a position to make an impact like this. If I think about everything else that I could be doing, nothing had this level of impact. So being lucky enough to be in a position where I can make this type of impact is hugely rewarding. And this comes back to, I fundamentally think that we're genetically engineered to want to help others of the same kind. So if you look at animals, any animal that does not want to help this same kind, like their own species, they're usually not very competitive, and they usually don't last, and genetic evolution evolves them out. For humans, I think we are genetically engineered to want to help other humans. So we got to take care of ourselves first. So we got to become financially free, taking care of ourselves, etc. After that, the highest sense of fulfillment actually comes from helping others. So when we are able to help others, when I hear stories, hey, look, CZ, I become financially free because I was able to access crypto using your platform. That's such a strong sense of reward that I couldn't get anywhere else. This is much better than playing golf all day, drinking martinis. All of those things are still, once in a while still okay. But this is what makes me tick. So, and this is my life. So I wake up, this is what I'm supposed to do. And if I get tired, I think, number one is it's not like win or not, it's not succeed or not. Like we're all here persistently, consistently pushing forward. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a bit faster, sometimes a bit slower, depending on overall market conditions, macroeconomics, and other factors. But we're all here. We're not going anywhere. We're just consistently and persistently pushing this industry forward. So I think 10, 20 years from now, 20 years from now, people will be using blockchain, crypto, the way they use the internet without mentioning it. Today, I don't say like, hey, I'm going to use the internet to message you. We just use it we just use it. There's many different applications on it. So I think 10, 20 years, we will get there. 10 years might still be a little bit tough, to be honest. Even if you look at the internet today, when we talk about video conferencing, sometimes still doesn't work that well. But I think eventually, like, people shouldn't be talking about blockchains. People shouldn't be talking about consensus, nodes, all this other geeky stuff. People should be like, hey, I'm sending you some money. Hey, I'm doing a fundraising globally. I'm selling my art globally. I'm gonna hire a trainer, fitness trainer in the metaverse. So all of those things should come naturally and without mentioning any technology. We will get there. It's just a matter of time.
Well, CZ, this has been a really fantastic conversation. Want to thank you so much for stopping by Bankless, and good luck to you during the bear market. Of course, we will be watching what's next for Binance and what's next for BNB chain and what's next for you. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, cheers.
Risks and disclaimers, everybody. Of course, none of this has been financial advice. All of crypto is risky. You could definitely lose what you put in, but we are headed west. This is the frontier. It's not for everyone, but we're glad you're with us on the Bankless